Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
And so much has happened regarding child predation, parents' rights, what's going on regarding the world of cyber negligence, if you will, as it affects children. So without further ado, from linswarriors.org and on Twitter, or X, I should say at _Lynn's_Warriors, is, of course, my beloved Lynn Shaw from Lynn's Warriors. Lynn Shaw, welcome back to, Warrior Weekend, or Weekend Warriors.
Thank you, Lionel. You know what? We are thrilled to be here, the Warriors, and we thank you always for providing a platform and for sharing this most critical and crucial information that we want everybody to understand what's going on behind the scenes, what they need to know, what they need to do, and how we're all coming together to protect our kids, whether it's online or in real time.
And a lot of good news, I should say, a lot of good news and tremendous breakthroughs. So take it away.
Well, something extraordinary, I believe, is happening right now across America. The pendulum is definitely swinging towards protecting children, back towards protecting them more, because we at the Warriors are always telling you, we know this is complex, and sometimes it sounds, kind of heavy, all this information about what's going on. But we are seeing everything swing back in our favor because, for instance, for years, parents, they were told concerns about smartphones, social media, online exploitation, screen addiction, digital harms, constantly told, overblown, overlooked, overreacting. But now we have the evidence. The evidence is everywhere. We can't escape the evidence. We have schools that are banning phones. We've got states reconsidering these government-issue Chromebooks that are in the classrooms, and they've made the kids dependent. That's part of their learning. We've got these lawsuits against these social media giants mounting. Parents are also demanding back to, pencil to paper, education and even textbooks. Again, get rid of the Chromebooks, get rid of the digital devices in the classroom. And kids themselves, and this is so important, are beginning to push back against AI. All this saturation that seemingly, it's been around a long time, but it's seeped in, and in the last year is hitting everybody. And this endless digital manipulation, the kids themselves are recognizing what's going on. So at the center of this movement, though, I want to be very clear and point out what empowers us, what helps us, are these survivor parents, that come forward. Their children have been harmed, right, by these devices, by social media, and they don't want any other kids harmed or any parents to go through what they're going through. And so they're fighting and educating all of us. And organizations like Lynn's Warriors, we are fighting to put kids ahead of algorithms and profit and all this technology, what we are going to call the last 2 decades, experimentation.
All righty. We seem to have a little tad of a glitch here right now. I believe she is back. Is Lynn Shaw back from the abyss?
I am certainly here.
Okay. There.
I am never going anywhere. We are going to continue talking constantly about the great news surrounding child safety.
Well, what I was saying also, just quickly during the intermission, or during the interruption, I should say, I think at first people didn't really understand when you said AI or whatever. They said, oh, okay, look, it's innovation and it's good and it's groovy. And we saw a robot, and then something changed in the meantime. What do you think that was? Because the president has certainly been on board with this. A lot of people, and by the way, you were in Washington this past week. I don't want to go too much into detail, but what do you think changed the tide?
Well, I really think that, listen, the Internet, we got to go back a little bit. The Internet basically was born in 1996. Now, fast forward, we have 30 years, 3 decades coming forth of information, of studies, of social media harms, of kids, their brains, parents, families, how all of that online world affected everyone, right, 30 years. So now, AI. Kind of, it started out, I remember a couple of years ago, about 2 years ago, ChatGPT, and everybody was covering it in the media, and everybody was using it, and it was just a big deluge of everything. And then those of us in the movement, and educators started thinking, and doctors and psychologists, and they started, no, wait a minute. We saw what happened over the last 3 decades with the internet. Now we're going to bring forth more information. We're going to talk about it. We're going to push back a little bit. And the movement has grown. I also think more people are definitely aware of what's going on the internet. So I think, in the beginning 2 years ago, it was all cute and nice and happy, or at least that's what we were told. And then it has kind of, seeped out. No, step back. We can't just unleash all of this artificial intelligence. And we saw right away with kids and teens, those AI chatbots, those artificial intelligence, those chatbots. Chatbots, everybody, are machines. They are not real, okay? They do not have emotions. They cannot be your friend. We constantly teach this to kids. And we saw right away the harms of these chatbots. Remember, kids were in isolation since that COVID period. They continued online up to 9 hours a day. Kids spend online, and they were developing. There were free programs. Let's, character AI. We can develop a little character in the likeness of a cartoon character, of a superhero, and that character can be your friend. And you can mold that character online, any way. It will tell you everything. You're beautiful. You're handsome. You're the smartest, and it will be your best friend. But eventually, and not doesn't take too long, it may turn on you and start telling you harmful things, how to harm yourself, how to harm others. And that's what we saw almost immediately with kids harming themselves. So I think overall there is much more awareness, there is much more pushback. And again, kids themselves are beginning to reject this artificial intelligence. They see the harms, and the 30 and under crowd are coming out and saying, we were used as guinea pigs with the internet. We don't want to see this for other kids younger than us.